How should the Springboks line up against France this weekend in arguably the biggest game of the year? As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers, and leave this video a like. Let's get into it. Now, after the Japan game, the front row is going to be a massive talking point because Oxenchair ended up getting injured within about 20 minutes of the game, and Rassie Erasmus has since said in a post-match press conference that Ox will play no longer part in the November tour, which is an absolutely massive blow because Ox has been one of the most informed, consistent players for the Springboks so far this season, and arguably one of our best players. So not having him to front up against that French front row is going to be a massive, massive loss. Now, in that post-match press conference, Rassie did say that he is thinking about calling back Asenati. He just has to speak to the selectors. But our other two options in that loose head position are Gerrit Steenekamp. Obviously, Thomas du Toit can swing and play in that loose head position, and then as well as Boan Venter. Now, it's a very, very tricky situation because obviously we would have loved to play Ox in that number 1 jersey. If Asenati comes back, does he play ahead of the likes of Boan Venter or Gerrit Steenekamp? I'm not sure. So for me, I'm going to start Gerrit Steenekamp in that number 1 jersey. I know he's come back from a long-term injury. He played against Japan. He got sort of 60 minutes with Ox's injury. So I think he's probably our best option. I don't know if you throw Boan Venter into the mix there against France, or if you bring back Asenati and kind of throw him into the mix off the bat. So we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. So for me, I'm going to go for Gerrit Steenekamp in that number 1 jersey. The other prop in the number 3 jersey, the tight head. We can go Volkolo, we can go Thomas du Toit. Zachary Porthen just made his debut against Japan, but for me, I think at the moment, our most informed tight head prop is Thomas du Toit. He didn't play against Japan because there was enforced rest that his club Bath put on him, so he wasn't available for selection, but he is available now inside the international window for the Springboks. So for me, I'm going to go with Thomas du Toit in that number 3 jersey. And then to end off the front row, we only really have 2 hooker options with Jan-Hendrik Wessels being banned. It's either Malcolm Marx or Johanna Grobler. I'm going to start Malcolm Marx, who looked to be back to his best against Japan. Lineouts were operating. He was stealing up a bunch of balls. His defense was very, very good. So Malcolm Marx seems to be sort of on the uptick at the moment. So Gerrit Steenekamp, Malcolm Marx, and Thomas du Toit. Then for the locks. Now, we saw Luit Diago, we saw Franco Mostert also play, although he didn't play in that lock position. We saw Arge Snyman play against Japan. But for me, I think our best lock combination, I've been saying it the whole season, Eben Etzebeth was rested for a reason last week, so I'm going to start Eben Etzebeth in that number 4 jersey, and in that 5 jersey, I'm going to play Ruan Nokia. I think them two have been our most consistent lock pairing when it comes to line-out success rate, when it comes to overall play, when it comes to performing under the highest pressure, and I think that's our best lock combination at the moment. So I'm going to go Eben Etzebeth and Ruan Nokia in that 4 and 5 jersey. Then for the loose trio, and I really don't think there's going to be much debate around who plays 6, 7, and 8 against France. Against France, we have to play our best team. I don't know if there's options to sort of experiment to give a guy like Zachary Porthen a shot, although he did look pretty good against Japan. I don't think Rassie Erasmus is going to mess too much around with experimenting against France. I think we want to put our best team on the field, our best combinations, and try and go beat France away from home, which will be a massive, massive green tick. So for me, Siya Kolisi at 6, who looked to be at his best again against Japan. His work rate is super high at the moment. He's getting around the park. He's making some breaks. He's making some big hits. He's causing havoc at the breakdown. And Siya Kolisi will obviously also captain for me. 7, we saw Franco Mostert play 7, but we have to go for Pieter-Steph du Toit to start in that 7 jersey. I don't think there's any debate around that. And then 8, Jasper Visser. I do think our 8 options are a little bit limited at the moment with injuries to the likes of Ulrich Loh, Cameron Hannekom, Jordan Augustus, but we do have the option of Jasper Visser or Kwagga Smith, and I think the only way to play that is Jasper Visser starting, who's been phenomenal since being back from his ban, and then playing Kwagga Smith off of the bench. So I mean, if you look at that pack from 1 to 8, it's a pretty experienced pack. I would say Gerrit Steenekamp, Thomas du Toit, and Ruan Nokia, the most inexperienced Springboks there. But then you look at Eben Etzebeth, Siya Kolisi, Jasper Visser, Pieter-Steph du Toit, Malcolm Marx, extremely, extremely experienced. I think that is a forward pack that is going to win scrum penalties, that's going to get you over the line. The line-out's going to be functioning as it should. So I think that is probably the best 8 that we can put on the field against France. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments. We then move over into the backline. Now, I've chopped and changed this backline so much in preparation for this video. I've gone back and forth. I haven't been exactly sure who to put in which position, but again, I think Rassie Erasmus is going to go with our best combinations, the most informed players to take on this French side away from him. We know how difficult it's going to be. We know how loud that French crowd is. We know how much the French team feeds off of that crowd. So I think Rassie's going to go with his best tried and tested combinations. Now, to answer who starts at 9, we first have to answer who starts at 10. Andre Pollard played that Eden Park test against the All Blacks. Sasha played against the All Blacks at Wellington. Sasha's probably been the most informed fly half for the Springboks so far this season. And I'm finding it very difficult not to pick Sasha in that 10 jersey, given his form, given the big matches he's played against, given what this match will do for him in terms of confidence, in terms of experience, in terms of what game plan the Springboks are playing at the moment. I just feel like Sasha Feinberg-Ngumazulu is the pick to go for as the starting 10. You can obviously also go for Mani Lebok, who's going to give you similar traits to Sasha. But if we're talking about form, he's also been very good out of hand kicks. He's been very good off of the tee. I'm talking about Sasha now. He's just sort of becoming that overall preferred fly half for me. What he can do on attack is sensational. I don't think any other fly half in the world can keep up with Sasha on his day. On defense, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Kicks out of hand, phenomenal. Kicks off of the tee, I think he's averaging about 80% or somewhere around there. So for me, I'm going to pick Sasha. In a big game in Paris, I'm going to pick Sasha to start. And then I think if you're picking a 9, the combination that Rassie Erasmus has been going with, and that's been working, is Kobus Reinach at 9, Sasha Feinberg-Ngumazulu at 10, and that's exactly what I'm going to go for. Then, into the centre pairing. Now, Rassie Erasmus has made it quite interesting because, yes, we do have two 12s in Damien Delende and Andre Esterhuizen. You could throw Damien Willemse in there, but I don't think Damien's going to be playing 12. But now Rassie is kind of experimenting with Andre Esterhuizen in that hybrid role in the forward pack, and he came on the bench against Japan and performed particularly incredibly well. He was so good in that number 6 jersey. I think it suits him even more than potentially playing 12. Andre Esterhuizen is going to be the key over the next 2 years to how that bench functions properly. And Rassie Erasmus has got two very good sort of hybrid players now on the bench in Kwagga Smith and Andre Esterhuizen. So when we're speaking about who to start at 12, I think you have to start Damien Delende, because if we do have Andre Esterhuizen on the bench who can provide that swing role, you have to start Damien Delende, who, by the way, has won 2 World Cups. So not a bad person to be starting at 12. So I'm going to go for Damien Delende. And then I don't think Rassie's going to play Kanan Moody against France. I think he's going to stick with Jesse Kriel. They have a partnership, I think, of about 40 to 41 test matches playing together in that centre pairing, so they know each other extremely well. It worked this last weekend with Sasha at 10, Damien Delende at 12, and Jesse Kriel at 13. So that's exactly what I'm going to go for. Then Damien Willemse is back from injury, or that's what Rassie Erasmus said in the post-match press conference. So I think Damien Willemse is going to start in that 15 jersey, and that's exactly where I'm going to play him. I don't think the experiment worked that well with Ches and Colby at 15. I think he's far better at wing, where the space has already been created for him by the likes of a Damien Willemse, by the likes of a Fassi or a Willie Leroux, and then he can exploit that space. We saw it in the second half where he sort of caught the ball in the 22, had a lot of space, broke through the line, put a chip over Kurtley Arendse, ended up going over. So I'm going to start Damien Willemse at 15, and then for my 2 wings, I'm going to go for Kurtley Arendse and Cheslin Colby. Then into the bench, I've gone for a 6-2 split, or as I like to call it, a 5.5, 2.5 split. In the front row, I've gone for Johan Grobler as the replacement hooker. For the 2 props, I've gone for Boan Venter and Volko Low. Now, if Asenati does come back, I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming off of the bench in that loose head position, but I'm going to go for Boan Venter and Volko Low as the 2 replacement props. Replacement lock, I'm going for Argeir Snyman. I think he just provides a lot more off of the bench than a Loet Diago or Franco Mostert. In the 20 jersey, I'm going for Andre Esterhuizen. That position is arguably going to win us the 2027 Rugby World Cup, because I think it allows us to play a 6-2 split that actually feels like a 5-3 split in those days where we end up going for a 7-1 split. If Andre Esterhuizen is on the bench, then it's actually just a 6-2 split. So I'm going to play Andre Esterhuizen in that 20 jersey. I'm going to play Kwagga Smith in the 21 jersey. And then the 2 replacement backs, I'm going to go for Grant Williams and Andre Pollard coming off of the bench, just in case we need to get over the line in the last 20 minutes or so. That's how I see Rassie Erasmus and the Springboks lining up against France. You guys let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.